Thank you so much for allowing me to be with you here today. It's such an honor to be here while Reverend Kathy is away, and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy I'm here. I'm so happy we are one here today. And the question I was going to start off with is, have you ever left a conversation? Because this happened to me this week. Like, you left out of a conversation, you walked away, and you're like, that wasn't me. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you were saying something in a way that wasn't quite yourself. And I've done this several times. Sometimes it might be that I was overreacting to something. And sometimes I can catch myself occasionally being a little fake with somebody. And it's usually someone who I have a difficult time connecting with, and maybe even have a difficult time relating to, and I feel in conflict with, and I'm trying really hard to be nice, and it comes out sounding a little fake. Have you ever been there? Or, you know anything about me, my day job is I'm a teacher, and so a lot of times I'll leave a conversation where a student, I'm a middle school teacher, not just any school teacher, and middle school kids are the best at pushing buttons and knowing exactly what to say to make you go off or take you off the tangent. And I have also had my fair share of walking past those conversations. It's like, who was that back there? And then as a parent, have you ever been there as a parent where you're walking away from a conversation was like, was that me or was that my mother that just came out? And so I think sometimes I feel like there's these different versions of me that kind of live in here, and sometimes one version might take over a little bit more and need to control. One version needs to play nice and make it right. And those different versions came up not because I'm fake, and not because, even though I might feel that way, and not because I'm an angry person, even though it just looked like I was when I just yelled at that kid or my kid. And it's because that's how I learned to relate. That's how I learned to connect. And I feel like everyone does that to a certain extent. Like, I feel it's in other people as well. Like, they're not always the same person with me. And I feel like it's because when we were first wired in, this is just my thinking around what I've been thinking about, we have certain things that we need. We need safety, belonging, appreciation, acceptance, and some kind of control. And when we're young, and we don't understand that those things are in us, even when we get a little older and we hear the unity message that everything we need is within us. If we're in a space where we are not aware of that presence within that shows up as everything we need, it shows up as safety, belonging, appreciation, acceptance, and control. When we're not aware of it, we learn to act in other ways. And we develop something called the personality. And our personality is not always apparent to exactly who we are as what we call in Unity, children of God. And so what I want to talk today is a little refresher on what Unity teaches about what it means to be a child of God and the courage to stand up, not to the personality like it's an enemy, but in spite of it, to allow something deeper and bigger within us to take the lead, to lead from that place. So that personality, the same personality that developed without the knowledge that we have all those things, those same parts of our personality can start to see that they're there. They can fall in line, and they can get all the things that they need from that sense of knowing about the God in us. It's kind of, I think they call it now in psychology, they call it reparenting. So we find, but it's a really good term. It's when we find that place in us, the God in us, the Spirit in us, then all of those parts of our personality that think they need to act out in a certain way to get those things outside of us, they can find it inside, and we can lead from that. So we become our authentic self, and the personality can not be the enemy anymore. It can be more of a friend and a leader. there's a story, and it comes from the country of India, an Indian guru, and I think his name, and I've never heard it pronounced anywhere, I've just read his quotes. I think it's called Osho. Have you heard this name? Okay. So, and it's a famous story that he tells about a parrot and the golden cage. And he says that there was a guy, and he's a traveling salesman, and he was in a beautiful hotel overlooking a beautiful mountain landscape. And there was a gathering room in the hotel where you could come and overlook, and at a really, really wide window where you could just see almost all the way around you. And he was just captivated by the amount of nature and how gorgeous it was and the expanse of the space. When in India, there's not a lot of space. And it was just, he went to his heart place, and at the same time, while he was witnessing this, somewhere right behind him was a parrot in a golden cage who kept squawking, "Freedom, freedom, freedom." And at first he's like, yeah, well, it looks like freedom. But the parrot's like, "Freedom, freedom, freedom." And he looks back, and the parrot's just gripping really tight to the bars of the cage. And he noticed the cage door is wide open. And so he goes to try to talk to the bird. And of course, all it can say is freedom, freedom, freedom. And he's a little taken aback, and he finally leaves this place. His freedom, his mental freedom is upset by the parrot. He allows it to send him back to his room. The next day he comes and he tries the same thing. The same thing happens. And at this point, he can't take it anymore. And so he reaches into the cage, and he is going to let the bird go because he can't convince it to go. And when he reaches in there, the bird's claws scratch and actually bring blood into his hand, but he's determined. And he wiggles it off the cage, and he takes it outside, and off it goes. And it flies away, and he feels really content. He has given the bird his freedom. He can look at his expanse of beautiful landscape, and he feels good. And he goes off to bed, and he feels very happy with himself and what he did. And the next morning, he walks down to the lobby, and there's the bird in the cage. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Do you ever feel just a little bit like that parrot? The internal bars that we create for ourselves, that we keep ourselves imprisoned when we know that freedom is right out there and the door is open. But clinging to what we know is so much more comforting. So clinging to that personality is so much more comforting, and doing what we've always done is so much more comforting because it feels scary to the personality who doesn't know what the source is. It doesn't feel the love, doesn't feel the belonging, doesn't feel the safety that is inherent inside of us. Doesn't feel that, is scared. And so today I want to talk about how do we get a little bit more of that authentic self, that individual God in us online. And I've been teaching a course on Lessons in Truth by H. Emily Cady. So all of my graphics and quotes today come from that, just because it's my absolute favorite book. So the first slide that we have today, in old-fashioned terms, this used to be a wheel. Can you see how that used to be like an old wagon wheel? But I really like this because it's a tree of life. And this is just a little infographic on how Unity teaches we are a child of God and what that means. And that's in the first couple chapters in Lessons in Truth. And it might be kind of hard for you to see some of this, but there's affirmations all around it. And in the middle, it says one divine source. So in the middle is one divine source. And that's where our center, where we feel our center in our heart space, that is where all things come from. Our source of all that we need comes from. And then it radiates out the spokes of the wheel. And this one, it happens to radiate out the branches of this tree of life. And I thought that was really beautiful. And it was supposed to give us an experiential understanding of what God is without giving us a definition. So I want you to do some of these affirmations with me. I'll say it, and then you don't have to read it. They're short. You can repeat it. So the first one is, I come forth from divine being. I come forth from divine being. I am made of the same spiritual substance. I am made of the same spiritual substance. The nature of the source is my nature. The nature of the source is my nature. I am not separate. I am an expression. I am not separate. I am an expression. To be a child is to share the essence. To be a child is to share the essence. An heir inherits by identity, not by earning. An heir inherits by identity, not by earning. Divine life flows through me now. Divine life flows through me now. I carry the full pattern of wholeness within me. I carry the full pattern of wholeness within me. Feel that at all? Can that sink in? So the idea that God is God in me, that as a child of God, it's not like the child this morning in morning class we were talking about when we used to get swats in school or from a parent. It's not that kind of parent discipline where the parent disciplines the child or tells the child what to do. It's more like there's parent material that we come out of. We are the essence of the same thing. Some people say it's like we are a drop of the ocean. That drop of water is still the ocean. It's fully got all of the chemicals of the ocean. It's just not together with the rest of the ocean. When we take it out, we're still the ocean despite it. We're studying soil in my 6th grade science class. The parent material is literally the rock that breaks down to make the soil. So we are the same thing. We are the stuff of God. And so just like the wheels of the spokes of the wheel or the branches of this tree, we are an extension, an expression of, and that makes us able to have all of the things that I originally named, our sense of belonging, the appreciation. It all comes within here. The problem is that personality didn't know it, didn't know that that was there, and so it had to look outside of itself to get it. And so now, if we want to come more from that, we have to be aware that it's there and know what it looks like. That's the hardest part. People say all the time. I know some people know automatically, like when I'm in my garden in nature, walking in the park or in trees, or I'm playing music, I'm doing art, all those things, I'm in flow, I know that I feel the presence in those things. I know when it feels easy, I feel those things. And I have a lot of other people that say, I have no idea. If I want to give, I could give because I just want you to like me. You know, how many times have you given, whether it's an actual physical thing or you've given of yourself in service just because you needed to feel belonging? You needed to feel appreciated. You needed to feel accepted. All those things that our personality doesn't realize we already have. So how do you know if you're really giving because you're in spirit or you're giving because you want to try to get from the outside? Emily Cady says this, it's the next slide. The personality, the constructed self, if you want to prove, is to stop and think before you do it. Stop and think, do I want approval? Am I reacting from a like or dislike? Am I trying to defend an image? Remember that the personality thinks it needs proof for things, and it thinks it needs to be right. So within there, somewhere between defending the image and thinking it must prove something, it feels it needs to be right. It asks, what do I get out of it? It's loud, it's urgent, and it's argumentative. Cady says, personality battles. It battles. So if there's part of you battling, or it has an agenda, it has like this agenda, it's really trying to push. If it's really urgent that way, chances are it's coming from the personality. She calls that authentic Christ self the individuality, and she says it stands quietly in truth, it acts from principle, it needs no defense. It doesn't have an agenda. It moves from this inner knowing. It doesn't need an outside source to tell it. It asks, what do I want to express instead of what do I want to get? What am I looking to radiate? What is looking to flow from me? In creativity, people who have a creative outlet will know what this feels like, because art, music, writing just wants to come through you. That is the same way that it wants to flow through you when you want to connect with somebody, or you want to really reach out. Because that's my biggest thing, is I like to reach out to people sometimes because I feel uncomfortable. And if I can make you feel better, then I'll feel better. That's me and my personality. When I am in my authentic self, I want to reach out because I can't help myself. You know what I mean? It's like people who can't help but make music, people who can't help but do art, people that can't help but be in nature. I can't help but want to help you. That is the individuality. And so it asks, what do I want to express? It's calm, clear, and certain. And Moses did this when he saw the burning bush. It was his moment where he came to terms with the personality and the authentic inside inner God. It said he actually turned aside to see the bush that was burning. And in the turning aside, he was aware for the first time. He turned away from the outside world. He turned away from conditions that he could see, or people and the personality, and he turned within to what he knew was his first experience with God. And he felt it, but then what popped in right away? He says, who am I to lead? Who am I to lead? My speech was not good. He knew he was not a very good orator. He just was not gifted in that arena. He said, who am I to do this? What if they don't believe me? And he finally says, send somebody else. It's not me. Have you ever been there? Just let somebody else do it, because this is not for me. And over the course of the Exodus, he really steps into trying this out to think more from this inner space, to speak more from the knowing that I can quietly stand in my truth. And all of those parts talking, I can tell them, just like in the meditation, it's okay. It's okay. You're human. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way. I'm here. And I can help you now. There's something bigger in me. And when we're coming through that, I can step into that space and be the leader. And so Katie has some very, very good ways that she teaches to do this. So we go to the next slide. She actually has way more than this, but I kind of just pulled out the ones that she really, really shows. And I've been trying these, and so I have some experience here. The first one is change your source of guidance. Change your source of guidance. So call on that inner part of you. For me, the easiest way to do that is exactly, when I'm doing it intentionally, exactly what I did with you in meditation today. I tell whatever thought is keeping me in my personality, or whatever feeling is keeping me away from being fully in my body, and I tell it it's okay, and I'm here for it, and I literally ask it if it can step back and give me some space. I try to create the space. Then I can feel the witness that's inside there, the self, and I can feel that part. You don't even have to go that far, though. I just like to do that. If you can do that, that's great. We just need to listen for the still small voice, because it's never going to scream. Remember, we just talked about personality screams. It yells. It insists. The still small voice never does. So we just have to pause, and then we actually have to listen. We have to inquire. What would you have me know? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And then we know when it's calm, when it's confident, when it's peaceful, when it feels courageous. There is the courage to live from the space of the I am, the space of spirit within, because it is already courageous, naturally. You are naturally courageous. It is in you. You don't need to build it. You don't need to get to it. You don't need to find it. It is in you. And when you have the courage to just listen, I have a little story about this weekend. I lost I'm pretty sure someone at school stole my Chromebook, my little computer. It's not my only computer. It's just the one that I carry around and I play with. I'm a techie. I've got 3 other computers. However, I'm pretty sure someone took it. I was real frazzled. And so here I am, like changing all my passwords. And yesterday, this just happened. And so yesterday, I'm checking my credit card statement, and there was a charge on there I didn't recognize. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all these accounts were open. Maybe I didn't get to them in time because my credit card, if I'm signed in to that account, it automatically has my information, and then they could start buying things, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so frazzled about this. I'm also frazzled about my dad is just recently home with hospice care, and I'm supposed to be like helping my mom. I've got all these millions of things going on in my head. I'm like calling the credit card company, and then I'm like on here, and I'm like trying to figure out when to call my mom. And then in the middle of it, something tells me something very calm, kind of like in Star Wars when, if you don't remember the original Star Wars, when Ben tells the people, these are not the droids you're looking for. You know, this really calm, confident voice says, hang up the phone. So I pressed end. And then it told me to pick up the phone up and dial. And then I thought I literally, in my personality, I'm thinking I'm calling the credit card company back, and I'm dialing my mom's phone number. And here's my mom on the other end crying because she had an argument with my dad, who has dementia and really, not in his right mind anyway. She really just needs to go to the store. I had asked her, can I go get you something earlier, like the day before? And she said no. But now she was at the point where she really, I'm like, Mom, you just need to get out of the house. Get out, let me come over. Everything will be okay. You'll get out of the house for a while. You'll get what you need. You'll come back. Things are fine. So there was that voice telling me, I didn't even know to do it. I just dialed my mom, and it happened. When I'm over there, my dad's like half asleep sometimes and not asleep. And so what I'm doing is I'm looking, and then I'm just taking a pause, like I should call the credit card company back while he's sleeping. So I'm calling, something, again, said, no, check online again. And then I realized, I looked at the card and it said pending. And I went to my email, and I found that company was going by a new name, and it was a subscription that only renews every 3 years. So I didn't recognize it because, number, it wasn't a subscription that I have every month. It's something I don't use anymore, and it has a completely different name. So here I was going to cancel my credit card, and I cannot believe, like, if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't believe that even happened. I thought that was like a psychic phenomenon. And it's just because I have been trying to practice some of this in my day, really stopping to listen and stopping to think. And now it's starting to happen automatically without me even doing it. I'm thinking, well, that's the key. When you change the source and we practice more often, and then there's something inside me that steps up. There's a couple other things. She uses street walking affirmations, and just to go really quickly with it is have an affirmation ready for when you're in life. Have an affirmation ready for if you come across someone who you don't get along with or who unsettles you. If you come with something that's ready to go, something that's ready to go. And then realize that you are a necessity to God, that God works through you. God works through you. And so all you really need to do is be aware, and the courage will be there. And don't we need the courage more than ever right now to be children of God? Look at what we face when we watch the news, when we're out in public. I think that there is not a time in our history that I can think of more than what we need to do is show up as love, to show up as compassion, as calm, confidence that can lead. And we don't need to make anyone else that way, because as soon as we do it, then it will fall in line. Just like as soon as the leader in you, the authentic you, steps up to lead, the personality starts to step back and learn and is reparented, that's the way the whole world works. As soon as we all start to step up that way, then everyone else will, when we radiate that out, that energy will be catching. And so I have a video, because this is New Member Sunday. We're getting ready to bring our new member in. And I just want you to watch this video and just kind of take this in, that now is the time for this. you ready to lead? Are you ready to lead? Are you ready to be the leader in your own life? Are you ready to say, I'm going to take that step and I'm going to make an intention to come from my heart space more, to know my true child of God self and bring that out into the world? And that's exactly what our new members do as they take their next step on their spiritual journey. Membership in Unity is not a requirement. It is just something that happens in order for people to show that they want to take a step forward in their spiritual growth. And since they're taking this step into their spiritual growth, we want to support them. In Unity, membership gets you voting rights, so we try to do this before the annual meeting. So whatever is happening, that they could have a right to vote in the meeting. And we have 4 new members, only one of which who's present with us today. So we're going to send out energy to the other ones in spirit, and if they come next week, we can have them stand and recognize them. But what they get is a few things from our board, who is here to pass things out. First of all, they get some seeds, and the packet of seeds represents the life of spirit within us. So in the numerator, the seeds need tending and sunlight and water to grow, so the new members are tending to, it's representing how they're tending to this new growth opportunity and these seeds that they're planting. The next thing they get is bubbles. Bubble wand. And the bubbles are a reminder not to take yourself too seriously, to enjoy your spiritual journey. And also bubbles are light and they rise. So they reflect light, beautiful, and lots of beautiful colors. They don't cling like that parrot clinging to the cage. They don't cling, and they float. So spiritual life is meant to lift us up, not weigh us down. Then they also get a pin, and the pin is just says Unity, and it's a symbol of connection, because that means that they are connected to the greater community through membership. You're always connected even without it, but it's just an outward symbol of that. It's a reminder that you're part of something larger and a movement of people that are committed to everything you just saw in that video. And then they, of course, get a certificate to show that they have said yes. Yes to the spiritual exploration, and that we honor their choice today. So I guess our members, you don't have to stand the whole time that I read. I can tell you the people who I could not be here today are Melanie Reed. You know Melanie because she is downstairs in Fellowship Hall, and she just lights up the entire room, she and Terry down there. And her mother was how she found Unity of Garden Park, and she works for EB Scripps as IT security admin, and she loves baking and gardening, and she joins us. Derek Goldschmidt, you'll see him everywhere. He's in the sound booth, he's on the Facebook booth, he's in the bookstore. He loves to help out around him here. And he could not be here today, but he found Unity through the program that we had here for the community about gun violence, and the news was here. He came to that, and then he started coming to church ever since. He owns his own business. He's 19, and he is an IT consultant. He runs Cincy Bros Computer Pros. And he loves volunteering, and he is searching for his path to God. So, Kathy Johnson, you'll see her in the slide for the morning class. She's right in the front. She has white hair. She usually sits over here. She is a retired teacher. She still subs. She taught in the Great Oaks, Diamond Oaks, and Scarlet Oaks. And she loves lots of things. She enjoys hiking and gardening, and she loves learning about native medicinal plants. And she has special interest in like flower essences and things like that. She loves astrology and mediumship and does dream work, and she journals, and she just loves that she has found such support and friendship here at Garden Park. And she hopes to be able to return that support and friendship to all of us. And then if our member who is here today would come up so that we can present you with seeds. I'm going to change you places. And the bubbles, so you're always lighthearted, and your pen to show that you are part of our community, and also a certificate because you said yes, and we support that you said yes. And we're going to send a blessing in spirit to the three who are not here, and a blessing here to Tracy, and a blessing to everyone who is a member here as we give our blessing. We love you. We appreciate you. Yes, we behold the Christ in you. So we love you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And just like that bird that we started with, clinging to the cage, it's okay if you cling every now and again. But guess what? The door is open. So try popping your head out every once in a while. Try to make it a point, even just once a day. Pop your head out. Maybe take a little tour around the outside. Give it a little fly. You can always come back in. It's okay. Tell those parts when they take over and they want you to grab onto that cage. It's okay. And then get your calm, pause, pray, and proceed. That might be your only affirmation you need to walk out into the world with. That could be your street walking affirmation. I'm going to pause, pray, and proceed because God is God in me and God's got this. Yes? So let's say our affirmation for this week. I claim my true spiritual identity now. I am one with God, with the good, and from this truth, my life unfolds. Nice, right? Thank you for letting me be with you today. Namaste. I definitely see that Christ, authentic, individual, true self, and each and every one of you. Namaste.